Hello, hello, hello. I'm coming to you. I'm coming at you. Hello, hello, hello. I am Dan Salem. I am live on the BuzzChomp YouTube channel. We're going to talk the NFL, and this week in particular, because it's my favorite team, and because it's summer, and because it's my favorite team, we're going to preview the New York Jets 2018. There's a lot that's changed and a lot that's the same, and this is going to be fun for me and hopefully fun for you. Madeline, I need you to leave the TV off while I do this, okay? Okay. All right. She's not listening, but we're gonna trudge forward like good Jets fans. All right, I'm gonna go live on Facebook and then we're gonna chat about this. And we're live in 3 and 2 and 1. Hello, hello. I am Dan Salem. I am live on Facebook at the Dan Salem as part of their creators page. I'm still perplexed how it syncs with everything else, but I'm at the Dan Salem over on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and I'm live on the BuzzChomp YouTube channel as well. We talk the NFL every week here on BuzzChomp and Facebook, 5 p.m. Pacific time. And this week, because it's my favorite team, because it's the period of time between the off season and the real season, we're going to preview my New York Jets. Everybody's healthy. Summer practices haven't begun. So the outlook is as high as possible, barring the fact that a player would like totally take over. Maddie, no. No, please stop. Sorry, she was about to break something. Anyways, we may or may not acquire some new players before the start of the season. The Jets could really use a pass rusher. That being said, the roster's looking good. We didn't lose too many players. We gained a lot. We maintained the guys that we really needed to maintain. This is the team on the up and up. And considering our division, we're really on the up and up because I'm not too high on Buffalo or Miami. And obviously the Patriots are just par for the course, which is very good for them, but still par for the course. If anything, they lost a few guys, which I don't know if they successfully replaced, offensive line, running back specifically. Therefore, let's take a look. We'll start with the Jets roster, correct? So one of the big knocks on them that their wide receivers, they don't have a number one. They lost Quincy Enunwa last year for the season. He has number one potential, just the way he was just owning it and confidence on the field. Also, it's my opinion that the Jets may have like 3 amazing number twos, and if you don't have a number one, having 3 number twos is pretty damn good because Quincy Enunwa was really good, really good. And Robbie Anderson is just getting better and better. And then Jermaine Kearse, the veteran, is just still playing at a really high level. And those are the 3 starting wide receivers. Then we have a whole plethora of players who could be really good or who could do nothing. Terrell Pryor highlights that list. He's still recovering from injury. Devin Smith, recovering from injury, never really played much, but came in as a second-round pick. We don't know. Ardarius Stewart has shown flashes. Sharon Peake has shown flashes. Chad Hansen's shown flashes. They also have Lucky Whitehead. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 other players. There are a lot of wide receivers. 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 on the Our Lads depth chart. I'll share this over on the YouTube page since I can't share it to Facebook since they're not synced quite that well. Error, try again. I don't think that was successful. HTT depth chart, New York Jets. Error, try again. Well, I've tried 3 times. I guess it won't let me share that link. That's unfortunate because Our Lads is a great resource for depth charts. Very accurate. That's not cool, lady. It's just not cool. So I like the depth that the Jets have at wide receiver. It's very like refreshing because there's not necessarily a hole there. There's excitement there. And I really think that the 3 starters with the right quarterback will excel. And the Jets have 3 quarterbacks that might be the right quarterback. Obviously, the best case scenario is that Sam Darnold excels and starts week 1. That means he's ready. He excelled. He starts week 1. But either of the other 2 players, Josh McCown or Teddy Bridgewater, are excellent quarterbacks, and they're going to do really well with this wide receiving core. You are just a fickle little mistress, huh? Just go over there. So, considering what we had last season, the Jets have really good depth at quarterback as well. And the running back position, while Matt Forte retired, we brought in Thomas Rawls, and we also, Isaiah Crowell. That's a great compliment. Maddie, she's putting her hands all over the TV. We can't have this. Maddie, you want to come sit on my lap? Sorry, she's banging the TV, and it's a nice TV. I very much like it. Come join me, and we'll see how this goes. All right, we're talking about our team, the Jets. Okay? So, the Jets. Look, see, we're live. Oh, you want down, don't you? Anyways, so we have really good quarterback and wide receiver depth. We also have really good depth at running back because Elijah McGuire, I like the flashes he's shown last season. And, all right, fine. I like the flashes he showed last season. Bilal Powell is still there. He's excellent. Isaiah Crowell has done really well on and off, and so he's going to be mixing in. And then we also have got Thomas Rawls, who showed flashes. So, I mean, Powell is not an every down back, but we have 3 players that could potentially spell reps for him, and all 3 of them could also be just as prolific as Powell himself. And so I'm very happy with our depth at running back because everyone's healthy right now. This is great. This is great. Hi. There's questions at tight end because there's a young tight end group. But in OTAs, the several players really started to show themselves. And this is good because the offense the Jets run, West Coast offense, you want a pass catching tight end. And so we'll see if Jordan Leggett or Eric Tomlinson or Clive Walford, Christopher Herndon, one of these players is going to emerge. It doesn't have to be a big name. I mean, that's really much most teams operate with a tight end that you never really heard of. We're not talking fantasy football. So it's good that the Jets have solid potential at tight end that they already started to show in the offseason. We got a fullback in the fray again, which is good because I like the fullback. That will be good news for Powell and Crowell or Rawls and McGuire, whoever's carrying the ball. And then what sets the Patriots apart in the Jets division has been their offensive line and the success of the line. And so we shall see how the Jets offensive line does. Spencer Long is a semi-big name at center they brought in. Madeline, they have new other players as well. They brought in Kelvin Beachum, James Carpenter. So they've tried to reinforce the line, which is good. You need that, especially with a young quarterback, if Darnold's leading the charge. But the offense has improved from last season. Yes, Forte retired. Yes, we lost our tight end. But neither player was prolific. The players we've gained far outweigh the few that have departed. Same is the case on defense. There was just a disconnect with Sheldon Richardson and Mo Wilkerson. And so as both of them have left, the Jets have gelled, and this is good. Leonard Williams is going to assert himself. He may get a lot of double teams. We'll see how that plays out if somebody on the other side of the line, Henry Anderson, Xavier Cooper, can kind of pick it up and step it up. Steve McClendon at nose tackle is going to have to do really well too. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Where I talked earlier about how they may or may not have a solid pass rushing presence. That remains to be seen. The linebackers are unproven, but Darren Lee, Avery Williamson, Jordan Jenkins, Lorenzo Malden, these are solid players. They need to improve, right? And so I think, Darren Lee will be calling the plays on defense, which is kind of awesome. That's a really smooth move for him. And because the Jets' strength is in the secondary with Jamal Adams, Marcus May, Morris Claiborne, they and Tremaine Johnson, right? Duh, he's the huge addition. Their strength is in the secondary. This takes pressure off the line and off the linebacking core. Obviously, you need to get pressure on the quarterback, but because they're going to be shut down in the secondary, those players can come up and blitz. Those players can come up and make tackles. This opens the game up. Todd Bowles loves to blitz, and this opens the blitzing game up. It gives the linebacking core a leg up that they wouldn't otherwise have if they had to really worry about the passing game. Special teams, probably a question mark right now. Not quite sure who's going to return kicks. Darius Stewart's penciled in right now with Elijah McGuire as the punt kick returners. We'll see if that holds. McGuire did decent. He didn't wow us, but it was first year. So, this will be a second year. So that's the roster. Overall, I'm very happy because it's improved. We've gained a lot of talent on both offense and defense. And a lot of teams can't say that, especially within the division. The Patriots lost talent on offense. I don't know. I really like Deion Lewis, and he left. They lost some major offensive linemen. Obviously, they filled those holes, but it remains to be seen if the players they filled them with are on the same level as those that departed. But the Patriots are going to be very good. That's just not a question. They're the front runner for the division. Buffalo lost a lot of players, in my opinion, and I'm not confident in their quarterback. So I'm not confident in the Buffalo Bills. Miami, I don't know what's going on in Miami. Maybe Ryan Tannehill comes back and lights it up. Maybe he just comes back and it's pretty good. But the Dolphins just feel like a leg short. You are a crazy little girl with a one-track mind. I don't know why the chat window is erroring, but that's what the case is. So the Jets in their division, I kind of think best case scenario, they're second because the Patriots are still first. But they're going to be competing neck and neck with the Dolphins for second place most likely because Miami's no slouch. They've been overachieving recently and then don't see why that trend would right leg up. So that being said, should we dive into the regular season and the schedule for the New York Jets? This is a semi-schedule breakdown. I'm just going to go week by week and see, are the Jets favored to win right now, in my opinion? Week 1 against the Lions, they are on the road, so I feel like the Lions will be favored in that game. But it's really a toss-up because I'm not that high on Detroit. Just Detroit at home with Matthew Stafford, they'll definitely be the favorite. But that's a game the Jets can definitely win. At home versus the Dolphins, that's their home opener. That's the Jets all the way. Then they're at the Browns. That's the Jets game right there. At Jacksonville, that's tough. Home versus the Broncos, that's a tough game. Home versus the Colts, that's a win. Even with Andrew Luck. Yeah, I know. I don't have much faith in them. Then they get the Vikings at home. That's tough. They go to Chicago. That's a win. They go to Dolphins. I always think the Jets. I say they'll split, right? They'll split with their division. So they'll get Buffalo. They'll beat a Buffalo at home. I always think. I'll say they split with the Patriots too. So Patriots at home, it's not bad. That's a Thanksgiving game again. Last time that happened was butt fumble day. At Tennessee, that should be a win. At Buffalo versus the Texans, versus the Packers, versus the Patriots. This is a tough schedule looking at things, right? Because out of the division, I know, sweetie, you're just full of cactus. Out of the division, they have to play the Packers, the Texans, the Jaguars, the Vikings. That's tough. The Broncos, that's tough. Now, the way I look at these teams, how's the defense, right? How are their defense? The Jets, they're not going to be shootouts. They're going to lock down people on defense. I think the Jets win week 1 against the Lions. I think the Jets, they're staring at 3-0 right here because the Lions, Dolphins, Browns, and I think that's 3 wins. Jacksonville, Broncos, maybe they'll go 3-2. Then they probably beat the Colts to go 4-2. They fall to the Vikings, so 4-3. They beat the Bears, 5-3. I always say they split. So they'll lose to the Dolphins, 5-4. They beat the Bills, 6-4. They'll beat the Patriots at home, 7-4. They beat Tennessee, 8-4. They lose to the Bills on the road, 8-5. They lose to the Texans, 8-6. They lose to the Packers and Patriots. That's 8-8. Now, so that means if the Jets Are you laughing at me, Maddie? Are you laughing at me? Is this too high of a prediction? Is this too good for them? So if they split, I can't help but laugh when she laughs. If the Jets split with their 3 division opponents and beat the teams that were bad last year, like I'm not, then they're 8-8. Because the Packers and Texans would have been good if they didn't lose their quarterbacks. Tennessee was good last year. I just think they'll take a step back this year, even though they were in the playoff team. The Bears, nah. The Vikings were good. The Colts, nah. The Broncos, I feel like are going to take a step up with their defense, and Jacksonville was good. The Browns, meh. And the Lions, I feel like they're going to take a step back. But that puts the Jets at 8-8. That's a huge improvement, especially with Darnold playing 75 to 100% of the season. So that's a huge improvement. Ooh, the Yankees up 6-0. That's 8-8. So basically, the Jets need to beat both the Bills and Dolphins twice. Because if they are a playoff team, they need to beat those 2 teams, which aren't. And that's 2 extra wins, which puts them at 10-6. That's great. If they beat their divisional opponents that are worse than them and split with the Patriots, I see the playoffs. You're just a shriek machine. Yeah. Hi. Oh, she's hilarious. Anyways, maybe I'm hilarious for predicting that. That's how the Jets get the playoffs. They got to beat both the Bills and Dolphins twice and split with the New England, and the Jets can make the playoffs. Because the rest of their opponents are tough. They all have good quarterbacks. But look at who the quarterbacks the Jets play. Hi. You're adorable. They have to play Matthew Stafford. Now, see, this is why it's good that the Jets' strength is in the secondary on defense, and that they can blitz because they play really good quarterbacks. They play Matthew Stafford week 1, then Ryan Tannehill, then Tyrod Taylor, Blake Bortles, whoever's in Denver. Oh, Case Keenum, right? Andrew Luck. Then they got the Vikings now have Kirk Cousins. Then the Bears have Mitch Trubisky. Then they get Tannehill again. I don't know who will be in Buffalo. Then they get Tom Brady. Then they get Tennessee's got Marcus Mariota. I don't know who will be in Buffalo. Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, and Tom Brady. This is a tough quarterback gauntlet for the Jets. But with the strength in the secondary, it's very manageable. Because I'm not so sure about some of these teams' defenses. Tennessee, the Packers and Texans need to prove themselves because they had down years last year. So that's a defensive proof. I don't believe in the Dolphins or Bears or Colts. The Broncos need to prove themselves, so do the Lions. That's what makes this fun. I would say we will – well, I guess there's a couple minutes left on this live stream, right? We'll take a look around the NFL after. And that kind of concludes my New York Jets preview at this point of the season. Le'Veon Bell's pretty confident he's going to get a long-term deal with the Steelers. I'm also rather confident in that. They'd be silly to let him go. Playing on the franchise tag, he just keeps earning his money. There's a lot of fantasy football talk going on because the leagues got activated this week. Wow, Maddie, you're just a running, laughing machine. And 4 referees retired this offseason, which means some of the officiating will be done by some newbies, and who knows how that will go. Anybody with questions before we wrap things up on this Tuesday evening? The World Cup's in full effect. The Yankees are beating the Phillies. And the NBA and NHL announced their postseason awards, which kind of seems silly so far after the seasons have concluded. Todd and I have an article up on BuzzChomp.com tomorrow about that. All right, thank you guys. You have been a great audience. That was my New York Jets 2018 preview. We'll probably touch on it again when we're a little closer in the preseason. But with a down news cycle, it was a perfect opportunity to preview my team. My daughter found it amusing. I find her amusing. All right, thank you guys. I'll be back next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can always find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, @TheDanSalem. Have a great evening and good night.